what does Caliber Coffee and Tactical Eats play into the role you guys play in fighting for our gun rights?
Yeah. So as I mentioned, like we help fund those amicus briefs that PSA is part of. So it's extremely important to us. I mean, the guns are on the packaging, right? Like we and we're gonna keep them there because that's what it's all about. It's about fueling Americans with the freedoms that they enjoy, and we're not just throwing out blank statements like a lot of companies like to do. We're actually, putting our resources, our time, our efforts all behind it, and it's great. It's convenient for us because those guys at PSA are already doing such a good job. Like Cameron at PSA that you guys interviewed, Jamin, like those guys are doing such a good job at fighting for our rights and upholding those, and they've partnered with the right people too. There's somebody out in Colorado that's fighting hard that they've done some stuff with. So we're piggybacking off of that, like where the sales are going towards that. Everything that we do is centered around that.
And what's amazing about the boldness of every brand kind of under that JJE capital is you're unapologetically pro America. You're unapologetically pro Second Amendment. And so often everyone wants to make everyone happy. And the reality is if you want to make everyone happy, you're going to make no one happy.
Yep.
And so what I love is you guys have never lost your core mission. You've never lost your core beliefs, and you've never been afraid of a fight, which is exactly what you want as someone who is kind of participating in your brand and repping your brand, because I don't know about the vast majority of our audience, but I know that this will ring true for a lot of people is you most likely have chosen something from under JJE to protect your family.
Right.
You've chosen to trust them to, defend yourself. And now you can choose them to nourish your family in another way.
Yeah.
And it's kind of completing the whole person in a really interesting sense. Not that you're not allowed to purchase anything from anyone else,
right.
But there's a certain amount of familiarity there. If I could speak English, that'd be great. That lets people kind of have like that, okay, I can do this. Like, because I feel like sometimes with the influencer market and just everything in society, you're just constantly being bombarded with sales messaging.
Very well said.
And so when you can trust a brand, and then you know that you can trust all of their ancillary brands, all of a sudden you feel a huge boost of confidence as a consumer.
Very well said. And I want to piggyback off of that. So yeah, like you said, you chose to defend your family with a firearm. Look, to be candid, if I may, it's very hard to get into the grocery space, or when you're dealing with consumer goods items. It's like you want to please the buyers, you want to please the consumers, you want to please everybody, and you want the brand not to be too pushy, because then you might, the stores might not take you on. Well, if a store's not going to take us on because of who we are, then we don't want to do business with the store in the first place, right? Like we are who we are to our core. I love what you said about JJE. We love this country. We're unapologetic about it. We care about your rights. We care about consumers' rights. And why would you not want to support somebody that cares about your rights? I mean, rather than you see all these other brands, even in the same space, you see these brands that flip-flop. They try to play both sides, and like you said, we don't do that. Not at JJE, not at our company.
Well, I mean, here's the big thing, and you look at the way we act as human beings right now, our society. It's very what is the most convenient thing for us?
Yeah.
Right. And so we go for convenience. We go for that Starbucks. We go for that thing, and we're because we want to be convenient. We want to get that coffee quick. We want to be a, Kaylee brought up with your second vote, go out and go purchase stuff. Take the time instead of buying that $8 latte from Starbucks, who clearly has made their voice known that they are not pro gun, or buy your energy drink from the Coca-Cola family of brands, who also are not very pro gun. Go out and take the time, purchase the stuff, or make the Caliber coffee at home and make your stuff and do it. Or Caliber Coffee just needs to open some stores around the country. Yeah. If Jamin, if you're listening to this, there's your idea, buddy. But no, it's that instead of going for convenience, you really need to start thinking hard and fast about what brands you support.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is, whether it's the Reloaded Energy or it's Caliber Coffee, you guys don't shy away from your origins. You're very upfront and outspoken about what you believe. And I think what has frustrated consumers for so long is it's been done in secret. You don't know what the brands are supporting. You really have to look until it's an election year and some politician calls out the other side for being supported by XYZ. Right. And you can be like, oh, I never knew that. And so, because it's not listed on their website, right. It's not vocal, it's not forward for them. And so as a consumer, it's hard when you're looking at your second vote and you're like, well, I want to do the most good with my money. I want to have quality products. I want my needs to be met, but I also don't want my rights or things that I vehemently disagree with profited off of my lack of knowledge. Yep. And so I commend you guys for the fact that you haven't shied away, because it would have been probably very easy and arguably probably more profitable to hide the ball. Yep. But that's one of the things that is fantastic about the people who support the Second Amendment is once you find that group of people, you can't kind of shut up talking about how much you really love this country, how much you love our constitutional rights, and how much you want to protect them, and how valuable your family is. Yeah. And if we can agree on that, then we rally behind the companies that are being bold and brave in a society that does not thank you for doing so.
And to be 100% clear, like every company has their own prerogative, and some things work for a lot of companies, and like some of the companies you mentioned, they're obviously extremely profitable, and they do things really, really well. And that's no slight to them by us, kind of taking a different approach. It's just like you said, I mean, we can't have the consumer thinking that we flip flop. Like it's gotta be like, this is who we are. This is our identity, and we're for you. We're for this country, and it's just I feel I'm in it, so I don't know, but I feel like that's got to be refreshing for a consumer, right?
No, it's 100% refreshing, and this speaks volumes, because over the weekend we were at an event, and we were in the middle of nowhere, so there's nothing much around except there was a Starbucks, and then we had people in the industry who were like, "Well, I needed to get coffee to be up in the morning," and hiding their cups because they don't want to be judged. Yeah. And they won't, because that was convenient. If somebody had coffee at the event, I'm just saying. But no, it is true that it's hard to deep dive into these things because it's time consuming. And for a brand like PSA and Tactical Eats and all that to be so forward and out there saying this is what we believe in, it's just a breath of fresh air.